Hey guys, it is Jess and welcome to another speed build. So today I am building a little bungalow. So what I understand of bungalows is that they're just kind of like smaller homes. So I'm going to consider this build a bungalow, even if maybe it's not. But basically I am doing this build for the Reddit build challenge. I talk about the build challenge a lot. It is over on the Sims Reddit. They do it every week and it's a load of fun. So that's what I'm doing this little bungalow for, and it's called the Brindelton Bungalow. And quite honestly, that's like such a creative name for me. When things have like, is it alliteration? Yeah, would I like alliterate things like that? I don't think that's a word. But you get what I mean. Like, this is like as creative as I get. So I hope you really enjoy the name. What am I even talking about? Anyway, guys, in my last voiceover, I was telling you about my weekend away. Over the weekend, my husband and my husband's cousin, we all went down to the coast together, and yeah, I was telling that story. So if you haven't seen that speed build, it was my parenthood base game only family home. I'd recommend going and watching that because, you know, you've got to plug your YouTube channel, right? So go and watch that video. Yeah, right? Anyway, just in case you haven't seen that video, basically we went away for the weekend. We left on Friday night and we woke up on Saturday morning. We went to the water park. I ended up getting really motion sick and nearly threw up from going on a water slide because I'm a big baby, and then I kind of had a meltdown, and that's basically where we ended the story. So I'm just gonna like pick up right where we left off, and where I am like picking back up again was when we left the water park after I'd had my meltdown. So we decided that we should leave the water park because like we'd done all the rides. I was quite clearly not going to hop on any more rides, and it had also started to like spit a little bit, so like just like very, very, very light rain. So we're like, yeah, let's just go because, you know, we don't want to get rained on or anything. So we ended up leaving, and we left at just the right time because the moment we pulled out of the driveway of like the car park, it started to like bucket down with rain, and it was super windy. Like the car was kind of shaking a little bit, and all the like leaves were like being blown off the trees, and like it was just this random storm that literally came out of nowhere. So we were just like looking at each other and we're like, oh my god, we're so lucky that we left when we did. So this is about like 3 o'clock on Saturday, and we were all like, oh, like, what are we going to do now? Because, you know, like, we'd spent the morning, we had some breakfast, we went to the water park, and now we're kind of like, yeah, what are we going to do? So my husband's cousin, her name is Meg. Meg was like, do you want to go and get a tattoo? And we're all like, oh, okay. So I know this sounds like ridiculous and crazy, but we've kind of been wanting to get like a tattoo together for ages. So yeah, we were just like, all right, let's call somewhere and see if they take walk-ins. So the first place that we called, I was like, hey, do you take walk-ins? And they're like, oh, we've actually had a cancellation. So if you came over, you know, like now-ish, we could probably fit you in. And we're like, that's fate. So we drove about 10 minutes to this place called Albion Park to get these tattoos, and we just like walked in. It took about an hour for the 3 of us to get tattooed because we just got very small tattoos. But it was just like, if you're not into tattoos, then you probably won't find this part like interesting or anything, but we're all tattoo people. So yeah, it was just, I don't know, very fun and very like spare of the moment. And every time I look at my tattoo, I'm obviously going to think of like, you know, our fun weekend, and the 3 of us are very close, so I'm always going to think of like the good times that we had together. So I just thought that was, you know, a really fun little event that happened. So the tattoo didn't take very long, and it was about sort of 4 o'clock-ish, and we're like, okay, let's plan like the rest of our night. So we decided that we were going to go to the shop and we're going to get like some cheese and biscuits and some snacks and everything. And then we're going to go home. We're going to have a few drinks. We're going to have some snacks, put some music on, just chill out. And then we were like, all right, then we will go and either walk down somewhere and get fish and chips and come back and eat it. Like, there was like a veranda porch thing. We're going to like eat fish and chips there, and then, you know, have some music and just like chill out and have like a late night. So, you know, we went down to the shop, we got our cheese and biscuits. We got like 3 blocks of cheese and like 3 packets of biscuits. We got a lot of food. So we came back to like where we were staying and we started to eat the food and we ate like most of it. And then Meg was like, oh, I'm kind of tired. And like I literally like turned away and turned back and she'd kind of like fallen asleep on the lounge. And she was like, oh, we kind of like woke her up and were like, Meg, because she looked really uncomfortable. She'd like fallen asleep with like her head down. And I didn't want her to get a sore neck. So I was like, Meg, wake up. And she was like, oh, what? So she's like, yeah, I just need to have a nap. Wake me up in a few hours when we go and get the fish and chips. And we were like, yeah, sure, whatever. So she like lay down and had a bit of like a nap. And then I decided that I was kind of tired. So I shut my eyes. And I woke up at 11:30 p.m. And my husband was fast asleep. Meg was in bed. And I was like, oh my God, it's 11:30 p.m. So like we literally went from like, yeah, let's have a late night. Let's go out for dinner. Let's have some drinks. Let's do some music. Like, let's go for a walk. Let's do all of these things. We went from that to literally falling asleep at 6 p.m. Like little grandmas. So we ended up just like, I woke my husband up. I'm like, hey, like we need to go to bed. And he's like, whoa, what time is it? I'm like, 11:30 p.m. And he's like, oh my God. So like none of us expected to like sleep that much. So we ended up just like going to bed and waking up the next morning. And we're all just like laughing about it. We're like, how did we manage to do that? Like what a buzzkill. So we decided that we'd, do some really fun stuff on the Sunday to, I guess, make up for the fact that we're a bunch of granny grans. So on the Sunday we woke up and we went to this place for breakfast and we just had like a light breakfast. We had like some banana bread I had banana bread, they had croissants, and then we had it with like a coffee. And then we wanted to like kind of find a place that did fish and chips. But we also wanted to go for like some walks on the beaches and stuff. So we decided to go for a walk like on this just random beach. And it was like, I'm just trying to think the first one we went to. Yeah, that's right. So the beach that we wanted to go to, I can't remember the name of the place. But by sheer coincidence, we rocked up at the beach, like the parking for the beach. And we realized that there were markets on. And well, not so much my husband, Meg and I, we love markets. And we're like, oh my God, what an awesome way to fill in time. Like, I can't believe the markets are here. This is great. So we ended up walking around the markets for a little bit. And they were like really, really good markets. They had candles and they had food. They had like, so many things like jewelry and clothing. And they were just like really interesting. And they had this place where you could buy dog treats, like kind of these like gourmet homemade dog treats. So we bought our little puppy like some dog treats, and I bought like this like shows my age, I feel. I bought a salad dressing and I was very excited about my salad dressing because I don't know, I bought some salad dressing, and Meg bought like a ring, like a finger ring, like jewelry, and yeah, all that stuff. So we walked around like the markets and everything, and that was really fun. And then we decided to go walking on the beach, and we had to walk down like all these stairs. It was like bloody 100 meters of stairs. It was an awful walk down there, but the beach was pretty nice. And I really like collecting seashells. Like when I go to the beach, I am just like a child, and I get like a bag and I just like scoot down to the ground and like run around and like collect all these seashells. And my family always laugh at me because they're like, are you 5? Like you literally look like a 5-year-old child right now. And I'm like, I just want the seashells. But this beach didn't have any seashells, so I was like really upset because I couldn't do like my usual like collecting. And the stupid thing is that I collect these seashells and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put these at home and I'm going to get a vase and I'm going to put all my seashells in the vase and I'm going to like start like a memory vase of seashells. And I usually just like leave them in my room for a couple weeks and then I throw them out. So I collect them and then just kind of like get rid of them after a while. So I don't know, I'm super weird like that. So yeah, there weren't any seashells on this beach, but there were rocks. And when I was younger, I used to collect rocks. That's really weird. But I like legit had a rock collection. And can we just take like a brief pause? That TV is in the wall, and I didn't notice until I was going through the screenshots, and I was like, hey, the TV's in the wall, and I just never fixed it. I do apologize, but I It's really bothering me now though. Like, that is well in the wall. I didn't realize it was that bad. I thought it was just like a little bit in the wall, but that puppy is like in the wall. So I don't know, if you download this house, maybe you want to fix that because it looks really bad. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get back to my story. So when I was younger, I used to really love collecting rocks. Like, legit. Like, I would go to like proper places and get like rocks. I had all these rocks and had labels on them and everything, and I stopped collecting them. I kind of lost interest in them, and I had this like rock collection, and I had them all like in shoe boxes, and I remember that I kind of had gotten a little bit sick of collecting rocks, so I just sort of like stored them all in like my cupboard, and I'd left them in there for like a month, and then I decided that I wanted to like look at them, because I used to just like open up the rock collection and just kind of like look at them, and I opened it up, and the rocks, I don't know what had happened, but they smelt really bad, like really bad. And then, I don't know, this is like my weird child brain. I was like, ew. And I was convinced that the rocks had gone like rotten or something. So I threw all my rocks out, and I've never collected them since, unless they're like beach rocks. So that's like a really random story. But yeah, I found these rocks. I'm just going to like pick them up. They're in a little baggie. Yeah, so I found these rocks on the beach, and I decided that I really liked them. So I picked them up, and my husband's like looking at me like, "Are you 5?" And I'm like, "I want the rocks." And he's like, "You're just going to throw them out in a few weeks." I'm like, "No, I won't. I'm going to keep them this time." And I really am determined to keep them this time because they're really cool rocks. So I have like, they're like round rocks, and they're very flat. They're very soft as well, like for the rocks. And I really like them. I'm looking at them now, and I just realized that you guys really don't give a flying wahoo what my rocks look like. Like, I just realized that right now. I was going to describe what these rocks looked like, and then I was like, who cares? Like, literally, this one's round and grey. Like, no one cares what the rocks look like. So I think I need to stop talking about the rocks now and move on to like the next part of the story. So we went to the beach. I collected some rocks, and then we decided to go out for lunch to get fish and chips because Cameron, my husband, had been wanting fish and chips all weekend, and we were supposed to get it on Saturday night, but obviously we fell asleep, so that didn't happen. So we went to this like pub kind of thing that had fish and chips, and we ended up getting this like seafood share basket thing, and oh my god, it was huge. It was enormous. There was like everything in it. There was like salt and pepper squid, and there was like fish, prawns, yeah, everything. It was really yummy, and we decided to like eat it outside so we could watch the water. So we're eating it outside, and I'm just gonna also take this moment to say something really random. I'm Australian, and one big thing that people make jokes about, they're like, "Oh yeah, shrimps on the barbie, mate." Like, that is the thing that apparently Australians do. And like, I have family from the States, and literally that's like their biggest joke. They're like, "Oh, we're gonna come over and see ya and have some shrimps on the barbie." And I just really want to just address something here. This is at least where I personally live, and this may be different for where other people live, but we do not eat shrimps on the barbecue. First of all, Australians don't eat shrimp. We eat prawns. They're different. They've got like an extra leg or something like that. I don't know. But Australians, we eat prawns. And we don't, well, no one in my family and none of my friends actually cook them on the barbecue. Like, maybe people do it every now and then just because, but for the most part, we eat them. You buy them like already cooked, but they're cold. So I think they must be like steamed. So you buy them steamed but cooked, and you eat them like cold, and you rip their heads off, and you rip their shell off, and then you squeeze their tail and like pull the rest of the prawn like away from the tail, and then you dip it in either tartare sauce or Thousand Island dressing, which is like this orange sauce, and you eat them like that. And you buy like kilos of them at a time. Like, that is what people do. They go down to the coast, buy like a kilo of prawns, and you just like sit there and you pick out. So that was really random, and I just wanted to address that because in this seafood basket that we ate, we had like fresh prawns. You say that they're fresh prawns, but they're not really fresh, because if they were fresh, they'd be raw, and then you'd get sick. But you know what I mean. We call them fresh prawns, but they're not technically like fresh. So anyway, this thing had like fresh prawns and like I was in heaven. There was just so much seafood. And I'm on a seafood diet. I seafood and I eat it. That's like the worst joke ever. I'm sorry, that was terrible. But anyway, we had like just like a real good like fish and chips feast. And we all ended up, because we were sitting outside, we all ended up getting sunburned. And I have not been sunburned this bad in so long. Like, I don't really go outside and I don't usually get sunburned. I'm usually really good. Like, I wear a shirt and I put sunscreen on and I wear a hat. But I got so sunburnt on my back. And man, is it painful. Like, my back was so hot and red. And we weren't even out in the sun for that long. But the Australian sun is like cray cray. And I mean, I have been to other places, but I'm pretty, like other places, sorry, that have been really hot. But I am pretty sure that Australia is like under like a hole or like a thinning or something in the ozone layer. Like I am pretty sure that Australian sun is like pretty bad. So I got like super duper sunburned. So children and adults, slip, slop and slap, because sunburn is just not good for you. So we had our beautiful lunch and then we ended up driving home. And actually that's kind of the end of the story. I think I've timed this really well though, because we're nearing the end of the video. And I hope this story wasn't too disjointed. I went on like some rant about how Australians don't eat shrimp. And I nearly told you all what my rock collection looks like. This has been a very random voiceover. But I don't know, like personally for me, I prefer more random, spare of the moment voiceovers. That is the voiceovers that I like to listen to because it's more genuine. Like I don't want to listen to something like scripted. I just want you to get on your camera or whatever and just like talk to me like I'm your friend. I don't know, like all the people who I like, all the videos I watch and all like the voiceovers and stuff that are my favorite, they're all just people that kind of just like tell stories and stuff. Like Nat and Plumbella, they're some of my YouTube friends. God, I hope we're YouTube friends. It'd be really awkward if we're not. Artsy Simmer, she's another good one. And then like, you know, like someone like Little Simsy, she just tells stories. Like, yeah, I don't know. And Spring Sims, once again, his like voiceovers are amazing. So yeah, I really just hope that you guys also enjoy the kind of more relaxed and like disjointed maybe sort of voiceover, because I also prefer doing these voiceovers because I want to get on here and like talk to you guys as my friends as well. Like I just want to be on here and be like, hey guys, like let's just have a chat today, and then I want to like talk to you in the comments. And yeah, so I just hope that like you like what I'm putting out there, you know. Yeah, I need to shut up now. So, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all in another one of my videos. Goodbye. I think I'm nearly nailing my outro. I know that this, like, whole talking after it ruins it, but I think I'm getting there. Go, Jess. Okay, for reals. Bye!